They have identified the January 6th pipe bomber. Oh, yeah. And later on today, we're going to find out exactly who it is. And according to all reports, it is going to shock the bejesus out of all of us. Very high up government official. And by the way, it's a she. Illegal immigrant wins mayoral race? What? Yeah. And Sydney Sweeney, you remember the good jeans girl? Well, she breaks her silence, and we've got that story coming up. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. It is a Thursday. We are live on Rumble and X across both platforms, and hope you can find us there. Join us for the ride. We've got a lot going on this morning's show. Oh, man, a ton happening. And we're going to get through all of it, I hope. Let's see, how are we doing on our FPS? We're okay, I think, a little low, but that's okay. Yeah, so all that and more coming up. The big story is huge, and we'll get into that. First of all, please follow the show, subscribe. If you'd like some behind-the-scenes stuff, you join our locals channel. That is right, the red button on Rumble right down there. And on X, you'll find it in our show notes. And check that out because it's a lot of fun. The After Hours show on locals, a lot of fun. Subscription-based, but it's very, very cheap. And you're helping to support the show, which we need. And we love you for it. All right. The January 6th pipe bomber, I'm telling you, Dan Bongino has got to be very happy about this because one of the big sticks in his craw, to coin a phrase, was this pipe bomber. Blaze News investigative reporters Steve Baker and Joseph Hanneman spent years working to identify the masked individual who put the pipe bombs near the headquarters of the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee in Washington, D.C., January 5th, 2021. Baker, whom the FBI actually arrested for being at January 6th rally, revealed to Blaze Media founder Glenn Beck they have finally locked in a suspect. What's more, Baker hinted the suspect's imminent identification will implement and shame at least one federal agency. Ouch. Baker told Beck, when I pulled the thread, I was so shocked by what I saw, I immediately took it to a source at one of the most important, highest level investigative federal agencies in the country. Now, if you think about it, that's likely the FBI. And I immediately took it to our sources there and said, you have to see this. After they looked at it for about 2 hours, the response I got back was, holy F. And then followed up response was, she's one of us. She's one of us. Yeah. When pressed by Glenn Beck about his confidence level in this suspect's ID, Baker said, I'll tell you that from gait analysis, what they do is they take a look, a computer program looks at the way a person walks, because we are all individual in the way we walk. Not as accurate as a fingerprint, but very similar and very accurate. And compared to gait analysis of this individual in private life and in work, that software hit at 94% accuracy. Human analysis from experts in the intelligence, a lot higher. They looked at it and said, my God, that's it. We got it. This is an unbelievable story. The science study of patterns, gait analysis in walking or running, regarded as one of the most sophisticated approaches to identifying an individual from CCTV footage, video recordings. The American Bar Association Criminal Justice magazine said that gait analysis, which has been used to help secure criminal convictions through the Anglosphere for decades, can be compelling, corroborating evidence. Criminals cannot hide their gait. You can't fool the computers with how you walk. Hanneman and Baker reported last week the 8.5-minute video on the January 6th pipe bombs, which the FBI released in October, had footage edited to exclude showing a U.S. Capitol Police SUV pull up directly across the street from where the suspect stood at 8:15 p.m. on January 5th, 2021. In addition to raising suspicions about this selective editing, the investigative duo claimed the FBI also deliberately chose not to publicly acknowledge the theory the pipe bombs were part of a poorly timed training exercise. Yeah, right. Baker indicated that there were national security-related briefings underway, and Beck said the suspect's name will be released after the relevant agencies have, quote, battened down the hatches. Beck says, and he's right, this is one of the biggest stories, I think the biggest scandal of my lifetime. Maybe in 100 years. It is monstrous. Indeed, it is. Like I said, they think today, at some point today, they will go ahead and release the name of who this woman is, who is the January 6th pipe bombing suspect. This is a biggie, folks, a huge story. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Do we have that? We do. Okay. Let's go over to YouTube. Hang on a second. I want to get this back to the beginning. All right, here we go.
On January 5th, 2021, between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m., an unidentified individual placed pipe bombs near the offices of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C. The FBI and our partners are renewing our call for tips from the public to help us identify the suspect. A reward of up to $500,000 is available for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the individual responsible for this attempted attack. If you have any information, please call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also submit tips online at tips.fbi.gov. The FBI's estimate is the suspect's height is approximately 5'7" tall. The suspect wore a face mask, a gray hooded sweatshirt, and black gloves. They used a backpack to transport each of the devices. They were wearing distinctive Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes, which are black and gray with the yellow Nike logo. Fewer than 25,000 of these shoes were sold between August 2018 and January 2021. The first time the suspect is seen is at approximately 7:34 p.m. at the intersection of 1st Street and North Carolina Avenue Southeast. The person walks southwest on North Carolina Avenue, turns north on New Jersey Avenue, west on D Street, and then south on South Capitol Street. This footage of the suspect on South Capitol Street shows the person setting down their backpack, which is believed to contain one of the bombs at this time. The suspect appears to put on a pair of glasses and scan the area, standing on tiptoes. before picking up the backpack, turning around, and heading back the way they came on South Capitol Street.
Isn't that weird? She puts on those glasses. They look dark too. Very weird. Anyway, hopefully today we'll know the name and exactly who this woman is. Exciting times, folks. People are getting their comeuppance, and we're loving it. Marilyn, getting worried. No need to worry. I'm here. I'll always be here, I hope. Be blessed indeed. And Danny says, you're late. You were distracted watching the recap of your Patriots game. Let's go New England. I didn't know you were a New England Patriots supporter. How about that? All right. Anyway, that's the big story of the day, and we will keep you up to date. If we hear anything, we'll let you know. It's a biggie. It's a big biggie. Man, isn't there a rapper called Biggie something? I think there is. All right. What else? Oh, yeah. Here's a good one. Oh, you're going to love this. An illegal immigrant, someone who is not supposed to be in this country, has won a mayoral election in a major city. In case you have been living under a rock, maybe you haven't noticed exactly how ballsy the Democrats have become since Trump won the 2024 election. Allow me to introduce you to a woman who previously admitted that she was living in the U.S. illegally and just won an election to become the next mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota. And the left isn't even hiding the fact that illegals are taking part in our political governmental system. They're not even hiding it. How bold do you have to be to declare absolutely openly that you are in the country illegally and then run for political office? Are you kidding me? You're not a citizen. ICE, where are you? The government is allowing this to happen right out in public without very little, if any, pushback. Democratic State Rep Cowley Vang. Vang Her, that's her name. Cowley Vang Her. Took home a big victory Tuesday night, defeating incumbent Democrat Mayor Melvin Carter after there was a tabulation of the second choice votes. So she was born in Laos, entered the country as a refugee, once stated during a public debate that both she and her family were illegal immigrants. Later, she walked that comment back, but obviously, if she previously admitted this, it is likely that it's true. This is a quote from her. "I am illegal in this country. My parents are illegal here in this country." So she's either a liar or living in this country, serving to represent its people while not being a citizen. And neither one of those options is very good. She says, I tell you this story basically, I want you to think about who it is that you're calling illegal. My family was just smarter in how we illegally came here. What? Later that same day, she spoke with the Minnesota Reformer, said she and her parents are American citizens, simply making up the story to inspire empathy from her Republican colleagues. So she told a lie to make people relate to her. Oh, that's very nice. And then the push she and her fellow Democrats are making for providing those here illegally with free health care. Sorry, nobody with 2 functioning brain cells is going to believe that bullshit. The truth is likely that she let the truth come out while moved with emotion over the subject, only later realized, oops, I just did myself a lot of damage. And then only she said that technically her dad broke the law when he was filling out the refugee paperwork for her family. Not buying that one either. She is the first woman and the first member of the Hmong community to serve in the position of mayor. Illegal, and now has been elected the mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota. How's that working out for you? That's where we're at. That's where we're at, folks. What the hell? I mean, come on. This is nutso. Absolutely nutso. All right, it's time to dig in here. Let me get a sip. Oh, that's good. And that is Blackout coffee. Hey, don't give your money to woke companies that hate you. Visit Blackout Coffee at the link down there in our show notes. Use the coupon code J20 for 20% off your first order. Do me a favor, check out Blackout Coffee. Use the link in our show notes, and you place your first order just to give them a try. It's all I've ever asked. Just try one bag, and you'll be back for more. And by the way, yes, they have those brilliant roasted beans you can grind up fresh every morning. But now they also offer their beans in their most popular roasts ground. So they will grind them for you. No more excuses. Ditch the other guys. Blackout Coffee remains true to our values. They are an American company. They support our local farmers and co-ops. That's the link in our show notes. Use that. Get yourself a bag of the best beans on the planet. They only roast them after you order and then ship them out within max 48 hours. So in less than a week, you got a great bag of coffee at your doorstep. Trust me, once you try it, full, rich, flavored, never bitter, Blackout Coffee. Use that link down there in our show notes. Thanks, Blackout Coffee. John and the gang over there do a great job, and we really appreciate you being a part of the show. Excuse me. The news from, did you see that unbelievable footage of that crash of the UPS cargo plane? Well, the news keeps getting worse and worse. Apparently, it's been revealed the engine fell off. These ongoing revelations about this UPS cargo plane in Louisville, Kentucky that crashed Tuesday, it ain't getting any better. In fact, getting tragic and more disturbing. The death toll, sadly, has climbed to 12, including a child, and numerous injuries, some very severe. All 3 crew members have now been pronounced dead. But another scary fact emerged from a briefing by the National Transportation Safety Board. The left engine caught fire and fell off the aircraft just as it was completing its takeoff. Federal investigator reporting on yesterday afternoon. First official details about this disaster. There was a fire in the plane's left wing and the engine detached during takeoff. Now, why exactly the wing would detach or the engine would detach, which is every flyer's worst possible nightmare, apparently that is still under investigation. So they're not saying a lot about it. But the United Parcel Service also issued a statement, terribly saddened by the accident tonight in Louisville. Our heartfelt thoughts with everyone involved. UPS committed to the safety of our employees, customers, and the communities we serve. This is particularly true in Louisville, home to our airline and thousands of UPSers. And it goes on. Man. More and more videos, more and more photos coming out show exactly how tragic this whole disaster was. In fact, do we have that one? Can we go full screen? This is on the bottom part of your screen. You will see a truck driver, and the top part is his dash cam. Just a little language warning here. But this is scary toast, folks.
Oh, shit! Oh, my fucking
That is insane. Unbelievable. The black box has been recovered. Heat damaged, but it ought to give some clues as to what went wrong. I would say an engine falling off probably is a big clue. That looked like a disaster movie. Unbelievable. So there are more and more of these stories out there. It's pretty scary stuff. All right. Wow, the chat's busy. What do we say? Buffering, stopping freezing, shows making me out of my mind. Been worse than... Sorry. X and Rumble buffering again is just my connection. I don't know. From here, I can't tell. Says, now if I refresh, I get 2 commercials before it comes back. Did you not sign up for a premium account? Really? Maybe it's their commercials causing the issues, just a thought. I don't know. I have no idea. But thanks for trying. Thanks for sticking with us. Hey, remember what I said over the last couple of days about the Democrats will now open the government because they got their election done? Surprise, surprise. The Democrats are now making a new move about the shutdown. Jeffrey's spin gets crushed on TV. It is beginning to look like the prediction I made about the Democrats and the shutdown was absolutely spot on. Once the elections were over, they'd then try and to find some off-ramp to end the shutdown and claim victory, of course, because that's what Democrats do. Well, surprise, surprise. They're engaging with Republicans on reopening the government according to Punchbowl. Gee, what What changed over the last day, 24 hours? Unbelievable that this is their play. Anybody who voted for them, when they do things like this, you are a moron. Don't tell me you can't see what they're up to. Please. Jeffries, Chuck Schumer sent a letter to Trump demanding a meeting about ending the shutdown. I like that noise. What a great way to just dismiss somebody. They don't need a meeting with Trump. It was never about him. They're trying to make it about him, but the government is not open because the Democrats keep voting against it. That's why. They demand. They're the ones that caused this, idiots. I'm sorry, Republican healthcare crisis? They're the ones that shoved Obamacare down our throats. They're the ones who made it so the subsidies would expire. And it was supposed to be so affordable. Why did they need subsidies to save it if it's so affordable? It was a failure. And that's on them, not us. The Democrats want to make this about Trump. Hakeem Jeffries talking on CNN Tuesday night. But strangely enough, even CNN was not going for the spin. This spin absolutely deceitful in every possible way.
What's your response to what President Trump had to say there, saying that the reason that Democrats had such a good night is because A, he wasn't on the ballot, and B, the government shutdown?
Well, Donald Trump and Republicans shut the government down and refused to reopen it. Donald Trump has spent the last 35 days more time on the golf course, more time talking to Hamas, and more time talking to the Chinese Communist Party than to Democrats on Capitol Hill who represent half the country.
Mr. Leader, you guys are voting no on opening the government, not Republicans. I know you're asking for specific things, and it's much more complicated than that. We'll get to that in 1 second.
Hold on a second, Dana, because let's just be clear about that.
Okay.
The American people clearly understand who's responsible for shutting down the government.
Yeah, but you said they shut down the government.
They did shut down the government. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and Donald Trump has spent the last few days saying to Republicans in the Senate, you have the power to reopen the government. They refuse to do it.
I want to talk about tonight.
What is your response?
What? He sits there with a straight, this guy. Trump and the Republicans shut the government down and refused to reopen it. What planet are you living on? Talk about somebody with less than 2 brain cells. People actually vote for this moron. Yeah, they actually do. Don't know why, but they do. What else? Oh, Ma'am Danny in the news. You know, he's going to be in the news for the foreseeable future. One of the most horrifying quotes spoken by a politician. Think about that. We told you earlier about Ma'am Danny's doomed promise to make groceries cheaper for New Yorkers, using government tax dollars to subsidize subpar food at public grocery stores, which will force other grocers to compete. Empty shelves. Eventually, you'll wind up with food rationing, trust me. But that's exactly what democratic socialists like Zoran Mamdani want. That's what they want. How do we know that? You listen to the most alarming part of his speech last night, and it will tell you everything you need to know. Listen to this crap.
We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
You hear that? Listen again.
We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
Think about it. Ronald Reagan once said, the most terrifying words in the English language, you remember this, are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Mamdani's statement is that on steroids. He and his socialist buddies believe they know best how you and I should run our lives. Back in August, Democrat Socialists of America, DSA, made it very clear they want to abolish the traditional family structure, calling it inherently repressive, racist, sexist, and that it promotes capitalism, like that's a bad thing. And who will step in to fill the void? Well, your friendly neighborhood government, of course. He also wants to abolish private property. Happy about that? Would make everybody reliant on government-subsidized housing. Housing advisor C. Weaver believes property ownership is a tool of white supremacy. Here we freaking go. It's racist. Racist. Oh, man. And you know, I saw today one of the accounts that I follow on X. She's brilliant. She's always posting little snippets of commentary. And she is apparently a realtor in the Palm Beach, Florida area. And she said within less than 24 hours after these idiots elected Mamdani in New York, already she had overloads of house showings from people coming down from the north, if you know what I mean. Houses she hasn't shown in months. Suddenly, there's people interested in wanting to see them, possibly buy them. Less than a day already. Oh, man. Marilyn Hubby says they're taking us down right from within. I think I know what you mean, but okay. Anyway, New York is done. New York is finished. Stick a fork in her. What else? Oh. We covered the main story about the ISIS-connected shooters that never got to go through with their plots. And now 2 have been charged with plotting a mass shooting in LGB bars. And guess what? Someone please point out to this Queers for Palestine crowd in Dearborn, Michigan, that 2 20-year-old men are under arrest for allegedly plotting a mass shooting attack on LGB bars in the area. They got weapons, practiced with those weapons, scouted their targets. It is a matter of luck and very sharp police work that they got caught before they committed this atrocity. Muhammad Ali and Majed Mahmoud, co-conspirators inspired by the Islamic State group's extremism, according to a 72-page criminal complaint unsealed in federal court. Our American heroes prevented a terror attack, says Pam Bondi. The men, described as too young to drink alcohol, looked at the LGB community and their bars in Ferndale for a possible attack, according to the complaint. Before making the arrests on Friday of last week, the FBI had surveilled them for weeks, even using a camera on a pole outside a Dearborn house, according to the court filing. Investigators also got access to encrypted chats and other conversations on social media posts. Just another perfect example of the stupidity, the utter moronic stupidity of these Queers for Palestine morons. Were any of these people to actually go, say, to Gaza? There wouldn't exactly be a warm welcome if you didn't know that yet. More likely they would find themselves on a rooftop with immediate prospects of a very short, sharp trip back down to the street without use of the stairs, if you know what I mean. That's what happens to LGBT people in the extremist Islamic world. Part of the same pattern of behavior we see here in this Michigan case. Regardless of what you may think of the LGBT community, the one thing we have in common as civilized people is that we don't want to see them massacred. We don't want them dead. And that seems to be exactly what Muhammad Ali and Majed Mahmoud were planning. They were charged with receiving and transferring guns and ammunition for terrorism. Brief appearance in federal court Monday, will stay in custody at least until the November 10th detention hearing. Defense attorney William Swore and Amir Makhled declined to comment. Makhled, over the weekend, was waving off the allegations, saying they were the result of hysteria and fear-mongering. Oh, give me a fleeking break. Hysteria and fear-mongering, my ass. Mahmoud had recently bought more than 1,600 rounds of ammunition that could be used for an AR-15 style rifle. Both practiced at gun ranges. Men repeatedly referred to pumpkins in their conversations, which is a reference to the attack coming on Halloween. It's not one world, folks. We're importing an awful lot of some of the very less desirable elements from those other worlds, as this case very eloquently points out. Now, full disclaimer, Ali and Mahmoud will receive full due process, entitled to the presumption of innocence, as anyone in this country is in a criminal case. We are do this because we are civilized people. That's what we do. For the same reason, we abhor the massacre of innocents. Duh. even if we don't understand or we don't accept their lifestyle or their choices, if it is a choice. But again, it is not one world. Sorry. Hate to break your bubble. Cases like this should make us start to think about just how smart it is to keep importing people from these places. Sorry, that sounds a bit harsh, but that may be exactly what we need to be. Especially from places where they throw gay people off of rooftops. Manischewitz. Did I say Manischewitz? I did. I forget. I think my mom used to say that. Manischewitz. Hey, do you remember that beautiful woman with the great genes? Sydney Sweeney. She's back. We love this lady. She has broken her silence on that big freakout that happened about her jeans ad. Hollywood star Sydney Sweeney finally broke the silence about the drama over her American Eagle Good Jeans campaign and admitted it was rather surreal when President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance threw their support behind her and defended it. She spoke to GQ magazine. 28-year-old asked about the freakout over her appearance in the ad, which she showed off that the retail store wasn't the only one with great jeans or jeans. Take a look at a little bit of this interview with our great American hero, Sydney Sweeney.
We're sort of talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So, were you surprised by the reaction?
I did a jean ad. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but it was, I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
That woman is so gorgeous, isn't she? Man. Anyway, she said, as you just heard, she said, I did a jeans ad. And the reaction was a surprise. Surprise. But I love jeans. Anyway, that interview will be out apparently in GQ magazine. Don't know when, but it just happened. So there you go. Jimmy Kimmel's Food Bank. Maybe not. Jimmy Kimmel is hosting a SNAP food bank. There's just one problem. One little itty bitty problem. What happened to the rich paying their fair share? Great wedge issue talking point for the election. Democrats telling voters they're poor or struggling because of somebody like Jeff Bezos is hogging all the money. Seems like wealth is a finite thing that they, and only they, are worthy of distributing. It's not, of course, Jeff Bezos, for example, that created a company that provides consumers with goods and services conveniently, generating billions in revenue. millions of jobs and value. But Democrats think that's unfair. The only way to balance that scale is to take from guys like Jeff, give it to the people who don't work for a living. The ones I've shown you here and you've seen on social media bitching and complaining about losing their SNAP benefits so they can't buy Pepsi and Cheetos. So when an opportunity for a member of the wealthy class to be generous with their fortune came around, very few of them, if any, are actually generous at all. And our case in point is Jimmy Kimmel. The food bank, hosted at the ABC show's Backlot, Jimmy Kimmel Show in Hollywood, set to gather both food and donations for local organizations St. Joseph Center and the LA Food Bank. Cutting SNAP benefits creates uncertainty for American children, seniors, and families, Kimmel said. To support our community members in need, we're starting a donation center. Open 9 to 5, Hollywood Lot, 6901 Hawthorne Avenue. And in his post, Kimmel listed low-sodium soups and stews, canned tuna, chicken, salmon, nut butters, low-sugar cereals, protein bars, pasta, and rice as the most needed foods. They also are asking for crackers, fruit snacks, trail mix, facial cleansers, oral hygiene items, soap, deodorant, and feminine hygiene products. That's what he's asking for you to go donate to their food bank. Now, listen to this. Jimmy Kimmel has a net worth of $50 million US. His annual salary between 15 and 16 million US dollars. Now, he's no Jeff Bezos, but he is a hell of a lot better off than you and I. But he's expecting average Californians to donate to help their neighbors instead of, maybe forking over a little bit of that cash. He's $50 million and $15 million a year. Just like Obamacare was supposed to save families $2,500 a year on premiums, it's weird how those savings and assistance just never seem to materialize. Gary Pajot on X says, Jimmy Kimmel makes $15 million a year. He should put his money where other people's mouths are. Yes, he should, but you know what? He won't. Democrats are only charitable with your money, not with their own money. It's just a thing with them. Who else? Robert Johnson. That's what they should be doing anyway, instead of the welfare state, which is exactly what we should have been doing all along, folks. Without the fanfare and the Rolling Stone articles. Of course, there are always hungry people in and around California. It's just what they do out there. It has one of, if not the highest homeless population in the entire country. And yet, Jimmy Kimmel didn't bother to do a food bank or make a donation to them until it became a political issue that would help him to bash Republicans. Then he's right on it. Fake people. Fake people. Yes, I saw that. Maryland says DeSantis is trying to put a tariff or something like that on anyone coming from New York. I saw that earlier on X. In fact, I don't know if it was A or not. I don't think it was. But he did this speech thing where he warned people about coming to Florida and that they were going to build a big moat across the top of Florida. I love it. Hey, they are not one of our sponsors, but a lot of podcasts, talk shows, interview shows on YouTube, here on Rumble, things like that, they have mattress companies who are sponsors of their shows. I mean, there's several of them. I can't remember any of the names right off the bat, top of my head, but there are a ton of them. And I often thought to myself, when people make a purchase online, let's say, which is what you would do, let's say, if they were a sponsor of this show, and you went over the site, checked it out, you got a good deal, you get a mattress. How the hell do they ship a mattress? And how does that not cost a few $100 to get it shipped to your house? Well, I found out. There is a video of a factory that vacuum packs their mattresses. I know maybe some of you figured this out a long time ago, but I'm a bear of very little brain, says Winnie the Pooh. I had no idea how that whole thing worked. Well, now I do. Take a look at this mattress factory vacuum packing their mattresses. Look at that. Squished it down to nothing. Rolls it up. Look at that. A little bubble wrap. Slap it in the cardboard box. And you're done. Now, I'm assuming when you get this to your house, you pull it out, take off the bubble wrap, and unroll it, it reinflates itself. I would assume. Must be something with the foam or something that they make. I don't know, but it is pretty cool. Who'd have thought it? Now, Jay knows how they get the mattresses to your house without breaking the bank. Oh, man. Hey, we're done. We're cooked. We're out of here. Thank you so much for popping by. Really appreciate that. We'll be back tomorrow for the Friday edition. Please, just a couple favors. Hit the subscribe button both on X and or here on Rumble. Easy to do. It's a follow on Rumble. I think it's subscribe on X. And then also, if you will, there's a red button down there that says join. And on X in our show notes, you'll see the link to our locals channel. Head on over there, sign yourself up. It's subscription based. I think it costs like $5 a month. You spend more than that on coffee, for God's sakes. Just help to support the show. Join us. You will get a bit of extra content. We have a new show over there, about 5 or 6 episodes so far, called The After Hours, in which we loosen up a little bit, talk about things we don't talk about here on the live show, and stuff we're getting ready to talk about on the live show. So please do join our locals channel. We really appreciate that. It helps to support the show. All right, we're done. Thank you. And we will see you again tomorrow for the Friday edition.